I first came to the desire to be in television when I was younger. I started off again at the television station in my hometown. I'm doing the PSAs on this local gospel station. And I remember watching the news reporters and so forth that would come in during the week and tape and so forth. And there was a particular news anchor by the name of Brad Means of WJBL Channel 6, actually, in Augusta, Georgia. I spoke to him and he said to me, if you go to college and get a degree in journalism, then come back and talk to me. And I actually went and did that. But being inspired through television, I have always been inspired by the freedom of talk show. You know, I loved Montel Williams. I loved Oprah, of course. I loved watching shows that basically allowed people to come and share who they were, but then in return walk away with something. And I was like, you know what? I want to do that. If I can have a platform that will allow me to get in people's business, but not for the negative part, basically find out who are you day by day when there are no cameras, when no one knows, when it's late at night and you're stressed and you're hurt and there's pain and all that stuff. But when people see you, you look wonderful. You don't look like what you're going through. I've always wanted a show and a platform that would allow me to speak to the world and address the natural, the humanistic side of who I am as a person, as a believer in faith and all of that. But to just have a show that will celebrate the lives of people that we encounter each and every day. You never know who you're rubbing the shoulders with. You never know who you're sitting beside. Everyone has a story. I watch a lot of television. I love television. I think that it's one of the best gifts that life can even bring. I have so many favorite shows. I love thrillers. I love drama. I love suspense. I watch Lifetime. I mean, I love dramatic shows, and just the thrill of not knowing what's going to happen next. That is what life is to me. Life for me is you never know what's going to happen. So just be prepared. And I learned that very young. So you actually mean if I live, things are going to come against me. They're going to be hard times, but I can actually make it through that. And that's all I have to do? Definitely. I want to do this. Life. So I can actually live life. Things are going to come against me, hard times. And every single trial that I overcome, every single trial that I overcome. Of course, you're not necessarily laughing when you're going through it, but there's always a sense of happiness deep down that I have at the end of every single trial. You know those moments where you think, you know, this is not, there's no way possible I can make it through this. There's no way possible, oh my God, I'm going to die. All those terrible feelings, but then you make it through it. So if I can actually keep the same formula for every single thing that I go through, that means that I can actually overcome. That's life to me, and I want that aspect of life. You know, I was born in Jackson, South Carolina, on a farm down in the South. You know, dirt roads, very country area. But for the most part, I can honestly say that my upbringing has a lot to do with what I want to do today, you know, and what I have done so far. I was born in a Baptist-driven family, very strict. We couldn't watch Soul Train for a while. We couldn't do a lot of things. And we would sneak and do it anyway, but for the most part, my family was very religious, and the expectation of faith and believing in God and, you know, going to church every single Sunday and choir rehearsal on Saturdays and midweek service on Wednesdays and prayer service. Church was my life for about 18 years. So for the most part, my life consists of, you know, faith. That was the thing that got me through the day. I grew up a very hard life, loving family. My grandmother had 16 children. Which is my father's mom. She had 16 children. My grandfather was there as well. And it was pretty much, you know, country life, down south, everything's love, everything's hospitable, you know, everybody's on one accord. So I really did not know any other way other than, you know, being loved, having love. But when I was 4, my father went to prison. So I didn't have that father figure in the home. My grandfather was there, but he was 91 years old, still, you know, still farming, still going. My father left when I was 4, and then my mom left when I was 10. She left when I was 10 years old. So very young, I learned how to be very independent, how to be emotionally independent, how to stand on my own. And knowing God really gave me a true foundation of what it was to go through things but overcome. So throughout my childhood, I struggled with, you know, identity. I struggled with trusting people. I struggled with just proving that, you know, with everything that was going on in my life, you know, I had talent. I could do this, I could do that, and I was gonna be something. I made a goal, I made a mission very young to be a person that would achieve and not allow what I had gone through to block, you know, my future. I had no idea then that that's what I was doing. The only way that I knew was to keep going, keep going, keep going no matter what. My family was very stickler with that part. They were very sincere about making certain you do the right thing, you know. Don't get caught up into trouble. Don't hang around the wrong crowd. Don't do anything that will bring embarrassment to the family. So I kind of hid that in my heart for a long time. Having your mom leave at a very young age, where, you know, when you're growing up, I was the youngest of 3. I have an older brother and an older sister, so it was 3 of us. And we all lived with my grandparents until they died. After my grandparents died, that's when, you know, my mom left, and that was at the age of 10. My mom struggled with drug abuse for many years, many years. And I remember once my mom and I had a conversation. I've always wanted to be in entertainment. And I remember watching Apollo one day, and we always had a thing where I was going to be on Apollo. And I remember me asking my mom, I said, are you going to always, not necessarily are you going to always be here, but I just remember her saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'll never leave you. And I never forgot those words. She said, I'll never leave you. And those words stuck with me. So when she left, a part of me kind of gave up on trusting people, in my heart and being close. So that has a lot to do with where my strength came from. I've always been very strong with making it happen. No matter what, make it happen. Because I feel as if you don't have your mother there, if you can handle that, you can handle just about anything else. Well, anyway, as that was a fade at that part. So it was graduation night, actually, in high school, and I was standing around. All of my friends, the ceremony had already, been over, and all of my friends were standing around with their parents and with their friends and loved ones, and I had loved ones there. But for just like 6 seconds, for just like a moment, I paused right in the middle of the ceremony. And as I paused, I remember thinking to myself, I looked around, and I didn't have my mother or my father there. And for just a moment, I felt like I had just lost everything. And that particular moment is when I made up my mind and I decided, you know what? Regardless of what comes against me, I'm going to make the best out of everything that comes against me. Shortly after that, I attended college, was able to finish. I got a bachelor's degree. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I attended college. While I was in college, I volunteered at this local TV station in my hometown doing the PSAs. And it was a local gospel Christian station and a local gospel station, actually, and I was doing the PSAs. And I decided then, you know what? If I can actually get my message out to the world by way of television, being my platform, then I think I may be on to something. So I then attended college, got my degree in broadcasting. Shortly after that, shortly after finishing, I then attended Howard University, where I got my master's in religious studies, along the lines of being in inspirational television. So that's pretty much how I came about to wanting to be in inspirational television. For me, inspirational television is a platform that allows people regardless of their background, regardless of their religion, regardless of their beliefs, to just be centered in who they are. Love, faith, endurance, determination, perseverance, all these things. And I think that if we celebrate the lives in people, I think that'll make this world a better place. And I think I'm just the person to do that.